Hi guys, I think it's just turned 5:30 and I'm gonna just get some prep done, grab some clay and see if anybody's gonna come on and watch me build a cat head sculpture. Right, choppy bits. Need to get some clay going here. Every time I stop working with the clay and go and do something else, cats get up on the table and they fling around my tools. So then I have to go and find them all again. And I think that's most of them. Okay, need another chunk of clay. There we go. Hopefully keep us going. Have I got comments on? Comments on. Hi Susie. Who else is coming on board to learn how to make a cat sculpture? Well, a cat head sculpture. Because I'm not planning on making a full one. I did make a steampunk Eddie, which is a steampunk version of my cat, with waistcoat. Well, what else did he have? He had a waistcoat, he had foofy sleeves, buttons, pockets, top hat, goggles, full works earlier on today. It wasn't a tutorial as much as it was a kind of watch me while I work and have a chat with me at the same time. Hello, Serena. It's a lovely name. Where are you, Serena? Okay, so say hi when you come on. I do try and keep an eye on you guys on my iPad. There is a 20-second delay, which is really weird. Hello, Aletha? Hello, Letha. Or Lida. She tells me off because I can't say her name properly. It's my silly Scottish tongue can roll my R's but not do sounds in Greek. So tell me where you all are. Hello, Erna. So this is kind of me just getting my pinch pot balls ready. Where's my choppy thing? Yeah. Lisa's in Greece and we got to know each other through the mentoring program on Clay Conflab of Hand Builders. I can never remember the name of that blinking site because it's just not a name I remember. So getting my lumps of clay ready. Lexington, Kentucky. Is that correct? And Serena's in Canada. Cool. I do love Facebook Live. I love the fact that there's people all over the world getting together and watching me build things in clay. So which was my other one? What was that one? Okay, so let's give this a go. I am going to... So did you see the picture? It's an ancient Egyptian cat statue. One of my friends was in Egypt recently and she took a load of pictures at a museum and I thought, oh, that's cool. I need to make one of those. So I'm going to start by making a fairly circular double pinch pot. I'm then going to I make my pinch rods really quite quickly because it's just getting the basic shape. And then I'm going to attach a and quite often use both my thumbs, not this 2-thumb thing, just get it all going there, and I smooth it off as I go. So I'm going to make quite a round head, and then I'm going to attach a snout to it, and then I'm going to attach it to a neck. That's about right. And once I've kind of put it all together as a very basic shape statue, I'll then two of them. Come here. I'll then start adding features and a bit of texture. I'm going to try and make this one just very lightly textured. More texture than the picture that I showed you, but nowhere near as textured as my usual things. You're a little bit wider. Pinch it out a bit more. And I'm trying to make sure that these match up a little bit more than my usual because I want it to be quite round. So, whereas the other ones I tend to beat them into shape, so I'm not usually overly bothered by the shape that they start. And I'm hoping that this is going to be a fairly quick tutorial, and by quick I mean less than an hour, because watch me make things in clay that I did earlier on today was like 2 hours long. I was like, oh, but it was quite an intricate piece, and it was more about showing you how you can make funky clothes out of the clay. The clay is, in Scotland we call it school buff, so it's a very basic stoneware that comes out a kind of toasty beige when it's fully fired. It's got a little bit of grog in it, but not overly. It's cheap is one of the reasons why I use it. It was the one that I started using when I first learnt to do stuff in clay. You can throw with it, you can hand build with it, and it works fine for me, so I don't see any point in changing it. There are much more expensive and fancy clays out there, but you know what, I just quite like this one. Okay, so that's a vaguely sphere-like. So that's the first chunk of the head. So now I'm going to do the neck. So I'm going to get it into a fairly nice cylinder before I start turning it into a hollow cylinder. So, hole in it, and then just pinch it. And this is basically just a base, so I don't have to do anything particularly special with it. I don't want the top bit too thick, so I'm pushing my thumb on the inside to kind of thin it out, because I don't want any parts particularly thick. And then I'm going to okay, I don't think that's too bad. It's kind of the start of the neck and the start of the body for the cat. Well, then I'm going to attach these two things together. Now, this is not the way I normally make things, but I'm kind of trying to show you that there's more than one way of making something. Now, what I've done before and what I showed you with the cows is that one of the important things, so he's kind of attached, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a coil in and make sure he's properly attached, or she's properly attached. So I'm going to put it in, squish it into place, and then I'm going to use a tool to properly squish it into place. There's a bit missing at the back. Another little bit. Don't have to worry about the clay going all the way around because this is just something to make sure that it sticks together. So I'm gonna last thing we want is the head falling off your statue. That's just no good. So we have to make it sure it's nice and well attached. And I find the easiest way to do that is to add that extra coil. Same when you're making kind of slab vessels. You quite often put the slab around the base and then you go in and put a thin coil around the bottom, especially something you want to hold water, so that the join is completely sealed, which is basically what I'm doing here, making sure the join is completely sealed. I'm going to, this could be the start of a head as well. Okay, so snouty snout. Right. Well, I'm just making a vague ball. Make it slightly ovally, and then pinch it out. Now I drew a picture of a cat, so I'm going to put that over there so that I can vaguely see it. Right, so yeah, I quite like that. A little bit of slip. Oh, it's not the right brush. That's a thin brush. This one gives a little bit of texture to my slipping. Not a lot of texture, but definitely some texture. Okay, so I'm going to just use my fingers and seal that onto the ball. Okay, and the other side. And then underneath. Okay, so we've got a cat face. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a coil kind of up the middle. Well, hopefully up the middle. I might have to put them opposite me first, because so that I can even find the middle. So I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm going to smooth it down so it's properly part of the face. Squish it a bit. And then I'm going to, see if you can see it, I'm going to kind of cut a chunk out. Okay. Smooth that in, flatten it a bit. This is to try and get that cat shape. Oh, that's not bad. And then I'm going to do just an extra bit there for, am I going too fast, guys? Is it okay? For a sticky out bit nose. Okay, so that's the start. Right, so next is going to be eye placement. So my eyes are hopefully about there. Okay, and this is where, if you've watched my videos before, Caroline's going, I know how to do symmetrical. Right, so we've got one and a bit, so we're talking about there. See how this works. I think it's a little bit higher up on that side. How's that? Not bad? Close enough? What do you think, guys? Does it look fairly symmetrical? Right, so I'm going to do eyeballs. Now the one in the picture had flat eyes, but I don't do my eyes like that. So, and as I say, it was only inspired by the Egyptian one. I don't want it to look exactly like the Egyptian one. So, I've got my balls. Nobody else's balls, they're all my balls. And we're going to put my eye in there. And I make animals with fairly bulbous eyes, as you can possibly tell. Oh, see now, this is going to be my Egyptian goddess cat. Because I have, oh, don't be shocked, I am the crazy cat lady. I have 9 cats. And 7 of them are from Egypt, and I have 4 Egyptian princesses, so I do 4 of the babies. So this is me attaching the lower lid of my pussycat, and actually my pussycat needs some sticky out cheekbones. Cheekbone's quite prominent. So I'm going to use a tool to smooth off that bit there, so it becomes part of the eyelid, and flatten it a little bit so it's not quite so pointy. Okay. And a little bit of flattening there. There we go. Got a chunky cheek. And then we're going to put on the upper eyelid. Oh yeah, so I was saying I have 7 girls from, well no, I have 7 cats from Egypt. And I have 4 of them are girls. So this one is kind of based on my Bada Bing, or my Spicy, or my Lilo. But not so much on Waji, because Waji is a fluffy little girl and her head shape's a little bit different. Bada bing, bada bing. Now come up and show the people your face, no? For a change, she's not actually going to come up and show you her face. Because normally she does come up and play and try and join in with what Mummy's doing. But she's been a good girl today. So, bottom eyelid. Let's see how does. I'm going to maybe a little bit thicker. So it's all made with coils and such like. So this is me putting on that cheek that I just did on the other side, because I do have quite prominent cheeks at times. Push it into the top and taking a tool, because I can get it in without my fat fingers getting in the way, and then pushing it down. Right, I'm going to have a look and see how, oh, it's difficult to tell without the second eyelid on. Put the second eyelid on. bit too big. I'll flatten you a little bit. Okay. I'll use a tool. Sometimes the tools are just easier to get into the spaces. Okay. He's looking kind of bunny-like at the moment, but we're not going to worry about that. And I think this side is missing a little bit of cheek compared to the other side. Okay. Right. So, where's my cat? One eye is further forward than the other one, but how unusual is that for me? It's not. It's not unusual at all. I'm forever doing terrible things with symmetry. Right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the front cheeks. Which are basically just balls of clay, flattened out, bunged on, so I get quiet, and then smoothed in at the side. Flatten it out quite a bit actually. I just pushed down on those so it's quite flat. I'm going to put a little coil on either side to carry on that mouth. Like that. Okay. One on the other side. Carry on the mouth. Smooth it over there. Smooth it in there. Okay. Now I'm going to put a little bit. I want to build up the forehead a bit because they don't really have that chunk in the middle. They definitely have a dip going down the side of their nose, but then once it gets up to the head, it's kind of one solid line. So I don't really want that middle bit going up. So I'm just adding some extra clay to flatten out the head a bit, but still have the kind of nose bit going on. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Still have my usual problem with symmetry. One eye is further back than the other, but we're not going to worry about that. Exactly. Alitha. Alitha? Exactly. Nothing is symmetrical, so we're just not going to even bother trying. So, ears. Heaps of ears. And they're all just a blob of clay that I point in one direction and turn into some kind of ear shape. And cats have quite... Okay. And the trick is going to be to get them a similar size and shape. Okay, and I'm going to check tool, not that one. Oh, where is it? This one. I'm going to cut the end off that. That's my basic shape for one ear. And I'll try and get the other one to be a similar size. So I tend to roll it in a bit of an oblong and then kind of point the end a little bit and then kind of pinch into it. Round it out. Okay, that one is bigger, but if I cut the end off, hopefully it won't be. I seem to be going in the same direction, so that one needs to point over that way. They're not bad. So my girl's ears are over there somewhere. So we're going to bada bing. Okay, so I'm going to attach an ear. Let's get a smooth tool. And pull some of that ear clay into the body. I think they're looking almost too bunny-like. I'm just changing the shape of my ears a little bit because they're looking a little too much like a bunny. Maybe put that one on that side. Right, let's try it again. I wasn't happy with the shape. I'm still using the same ear, but I'm changing the shape a bit. And I'm doing the same, smoothing it in. Right, on the back end, because there's that indent, I'm going to use not as thick as that, a coil of clay. Same as I did with the neck. I'm going to squish it into place, and then I'm going to use a tool and pull up from the middle into the ear, smooth it, and basically I kind of just push it in the middle and I smooth it up into the ear, and then from the middle into the head, and it just allows that extra strength into my joins. Okay, I'm going to smooth out that bit. Okay, so cat ear, and just smooth in that bit as well. What are we thinking so far? Is it saying cat to you guys? Oh, I can't wait for you to make one as well, Helga. I love seeing people doing creations from my creations. That's why I do this. I do it to inspire. I like to inspire. I do a bit of beadwork sometimes as well, or wire work. I quite like playing with wire. So I'm seriously thinking about, once this girl's out of the kiln, designing almost like a headdress for her. I think that would be really cool. My girl with a headdress. So one of my friends, I don't think she's on at the moment, is a lady, lovely lady called Jackie Willoughby, and she makes quirky clay items down in Englandshire somewhere. My England geography is not great. My geography is not great, but my English geography is even worse. And she always gets her stuff so smooth. I'm always astounded by how smooth her stuff looks, and you just think, oh wow. But I'm terrible at smooth. I don't do smooth. I do texture normally. Lots and lots of texture. I think maybe I don't have the patience for smooth. But then you could say equally that texture takes a lot longer to do. So maybe. Right, so my little girl needs a bit of a mouth. And all I'm doing is I'm just putting a gap in there because actually she's got quite a decent chin. So she doesn't need much. Right, so I'm going to put some dots in there. And then we're going to get a tool and we're going to put a hole right the way through. And I'm going to smooth it off a bit, and because they have decent sized nostrils, so they do. So that's one nostril. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to put a tool all the way through. Now that puts air, or allows air into the inside. You don't have to do that. If you're not going to do it, you need to make sure that your item is completely dry before you fire it. I'm going to just smooth off those corner bits. Okay, so we have nostrils. For the head, because the head is also hollow, I'm going to find my pointy tool and I'm going to put a hole in the base right the way up into the head. All the way into the head, and that'll again allow air to get in and hopefully help it drying. And then I'm going to use one of these, which is one of my favorite tools and so hard to come by. So it's a forged steel serrated edge, and this is going to be my texture. I know I said I was going to make it smooth. I'm not going to make it completely smooth. I'm going to add some of this as texture. So right, so basically I'm going to do that all the way over, but I'm not going to bore you with that. But there you go, cat statue. I have like that so you can have a proper look at it. How's that? Ooh, I didn't have this one on. Hold on. Nah, is that better? Damn, I forgot to put that one on. I'm sorry. So basically what I'm going to do, last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go all over the whole cat and just put in these fine lines, get rid of any extra bits that don't need to be there. And that's the cat done. What are your thoughts, ladies? Thank you, Lida. Thank you, Cass, for watching. Oh, thank you, Serena. I really hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see lots of cat statues popping up on pinch potters and clay coilers. So until tomorrow evening, same time, I hope you have a good evening. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I hope you're being inspired to go and play with clay. Okay, talk to you soon.